Hey, could you make my dog, like, not have teeth anymore? What kind of business you think I'm running here, boy? Come on, man, you file down horses' hooves for a living. Teeth are just tiny mouth hooves. That's close. Sorry, buddy.
Oh god, freaking. To another unorthodox reaction. Come on. That's what we're doing. I thought we were covering each other's faces.
Another unorthodox intro.
I thought we were covering each other's faces. Welcome, guys, to my YouTube channel.
My unorthodox reaction.
My unorthodox intro. Cold open. I said it.
Today we got for you a salmonella video. This is our first time reacting to salmonella.
Not salmonella.
Salmonella.
Not like
the one where you don't wash your hands before you handle chicken.
No.
Yes.
The one where you get salmonella all over your kitchen because you wash your chicken. Don't wash your chicken, guys. Don't wash your chicken. Don't wash your chicken.
That's not a message.
Overrated. It's overrated. It's bloody overrated. In fact, don't even season. I ain't even seasoned my chicken for like 5 years. Look at me. I'm dark and sexy. I mean, okay, wouldn't go sexy. I'm
sorry, guys. He was raped by a white person.
Oh my god! You can't use the R word, bro.
The R word?
Did you say raised?
No.
What did you say?
Raised.
Raised, but
I didn't say raised.
Oh, you said raised.
Raised, yeah.
Okay, I thought you said the other R word.
No, I said raised.
Okay, sorry guys, I panicked. We don't do that other R word.
Anyways, salmonella video. It is Daniel Dancer, history's biggest cheapskate. I've actually watched.
This is me. I should be here.
Bro, trust me. This is not you. I've watched.
Have you seen the cheapskate? The cheapskate things where they like in America where the people like reuse the same water they used to wash their plates and
I've seen those.
And do dumb stuff. Oh,
bro,
damn.
This one puts.
I thought I was cheap. That is disrespectful.
This puts
we need to watch an episode of them cheapskates.
Bro, we did actually
that is disrespectful, bro. What they do is inhumane. Even prison wouldn't do that to someone.
I feel like
all
that effort is not worth it for the amount that
it's not.
It just does not feel worth it for the amount that
someone freaking cooks lasagna in the dishwasher. No, I'm dead serious. She washes all the dishes, but she puts the lasagna in the dishwasher because the heat gets high enough for it to cook her lasagna. So
what kind of dishwasher? Okay, I don't know how that works. I've never had a dishwasher in my life.
Yeah, like she
I don't know how
wraps it in tinfoil, puts it in there.
Does dishwashers get hot?
Yeah, obviously.
What do you mean, obviously?
I mean, it's a dishwasher, isn't it?
Yeah, you could use cold water.
Hey, you use cold water to wash your dishes?
Yes. I mean, unless it's like been sitting there for like a while and it's like.
Fair play. Guys, I don't know this guy. But, unorthodox interactions.
So you're telling me if you want to wash your dish right now, you use hot water? Do you know how roasting it is? You use hot water to wash your dish right now.
I turn it on by instinct. With instinct, I turn it on and then I realize I'm not dumb.
Exactly. So you use
and then sometimes I even splash the cold on my face.
Alright, let's get into it.
Cheapskates.
It was sponsored by Skillshare.
Salmonella Academy. Salmonella.
Hey kids, you're probably familiar with at least a few characters whose obsessive penny pinching truly knows no bounds. Yes, from Ebenezer Scrooge to Scrooge McDuck, nobody hoards money quite like misers. But these guys aren't the most miserly misers out there, not by a long shot. First of all, look at their top hats, their extravagant use of glasses, their luxurious chairs. These things are worth their weight in precious shekels. No true miser would waste their wealth on such frills. Second of all, these guys aren't real. They're fictional characters. Scrooge McDuck does not exist. I don't care what CNN says, it's all liberal conspiracy bullshit. I mean, look at this article by the Huffington Post. You mean to tell me that this
notorious 1% Scrooge McDuck spotted outside Los Angeles cafe
picture isn't photoshopped? Ridiculous. But you know who was real? One Daniel Dancer of London, England. Born in 1716, Daniel's father died at a young age, leaving behind a large agricultural estate for Daniel to oversee. When it was first inherited, the property brought in a few £100s a year, which doesn't sound like much today, but given that a general laborer could be expected to make around £19 per year in 1710, it's safe to say that Dancer could afford to live
£19 per year. I mean, granted, obviously, cost of living was way lower then.
I wish.
But thinking about that now, though.
Was now.
No, but technically,
I'll be rich, bro.
No, you wouldn't. Because this is how it is now.
I wish I was still earning my 19.
Right, you'd be balling.
I'll be.
Balling.
I'll take.
You definitely be earning
bro.
an hour what they earning.
Yeah, bro. What?
Bro, I'll be out on the town every day.
What? I would only work 2 hours a day.
Fairly lavish lifestyle off his passive income alone. But Dan was like, you know, all this food and clothing and stuff is alright, but you know what I really like? Owning money. Say, how much does a pound cost? Well, that's a complicated question, Daniel. Can currency really be said to have intrinsic value? Some economists believe that. TLDR, please. They cost a pound. Jesus, that's a lot. I better start saving. Thus began one of the most intentionally frugal lifestyles history has ever seen. Let me walk you through a few of Dancer's day-to-day habits. First of all, don't even think about it. The closest thing to bathing that Daniel did was during the summer months when, once or twice a week, he'd wade into the nearby pond and scrub his face with a handful of sand. Say what you will, but what he lacked in deodorization, he certainly made up for in exfoliation. Admittedly, all of London probably reeked to high hell back then, so while Daniel's smell might not have tipped people off to his eccentricity, his clothes almost certainly did. On a good day, he'd be seen in one of his coats, which were homemade patchwork abominations of various garments that Dancer found on the streets and local dust heaps, looking like a walking dementia patient sewing circle. Similarly, all his shoes were either scavenged or Frankensteined out of other pairs of shoes he already owned, with the whole ensemble being barely held together with haphazardly tied bands made of the hay grown on his estate. In fact, a lot of the time, he ditched normal clothes altogether and just wear the hay. To his credit, in his youth, Daniel was known to purchase a whole 2 shirts per year as his clothing expense. But one day he looked in the mirror and said, "Daniel, you're bleeding funds like a stuck pig. It's time to grow up and get your act together," and cut his budget to only 1 shirt per year. One of the few people that Daniel associated with regularly was his sister, whom he lived with. Believe it or not, she shared in a lot of Daniel's tight-fisted habits, and it definitely showed. She was described as, quote, having more the appearance of a walking dunghill than one of the fair sex. Couldn't have said it better myself, honestly. Dancer prepared all of his food for the upcoming week ahead of time, consisting of only 14 hard dumplings and 3 pounds of beef stretched out over the entire 7-day period. Every day, he'd eat only a single meal that was basically equivalent to 2 wads of dried out dough and 1.5 quarter pounder patties from McDonald's. He kept this habit up for years without fail, except for one time when he stumbled upon a fully intact, rotting sheep carcass during his daily stroll. He was like, "Good lord, this is just obscene. Who would leave a perfectly good pile of arguably edible meat and organs just sitting around like this?" So he dragged the thing home and made him and his sister a nice big pile of spoiled mutton pies, which they subsisted off of for several weeks. That's a real life hack right there. Who needs refrigeration if it's already rancid, am I right? Despite Daniel's rabid fear of any unnecessary spending, he did own a dog named Bob that he was quite fond of. At this point, I'm almost certain that Dancer just decided to base his entire life off of linoleum by no effects, which is pretty incredible considering linoleum wasn't even invented for another 100 years. Anyway though, one day, Daniel's neighbor came to complain about how Bob had been harassing his sheep. So Daniel said, "Don't worry boy, I ain't gonna kill you, but we don't want a lawsuit on our hands, do we?" "No we don't. What would we do if a lawyer came around here, huh?" That's right, and make his children watch, yeah. So he decided to take the dog to the local farrier, which is basically a blacksmith that specializes in horseshoes and the like. "Hey, could you make my dog, like, not have teeth anymore?" What kind of business do you think I'm running here, boy?" "Come on, man, you file down horses' hooves for a living. Teeth are just tiny mouth hooves. That's close." "Sorry, buddy, but close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades." Well, got me there. Say, what's a hand grenade? None of my sources say what happened to the dog after his untimely nubbening, but I do know Dan never got sued, so I guess the operation was a success. Daniel's sister passed away in 1766, leaving him so distraught that he actually went out of his way to buy mourning clothes for her funeral. And by that I mean he bought a pair of secondhand black stockings, and that's it. Still, that's a big deal when it comes to the likes of Dancer. At this point, the only person close to a friend that Dancer had was a woman known as Lady Tempest. She was so influential over him that she was actually able to to convince him to buy, get this, a 1 shilling hat. This was quite an accomplishment, as Daniel's last hat was older than half of you at 14 years old. What? I'm not. You don't. Meow. You.
Dang, it's like a
Of course, the
mini
next
me
time Andy
carrier.
Tempest went to hang out with him, he was still wearing his old disgusting hat. When questioned about the one he bought, he goes, oh yeah, that frilly old thing. Sold it for a 6 pence profit. Super easy too. I tell you, forget house flipping. Hat flipping is going to be the cool new thing pretty soon. Lo and behold, 250 years later, he was wrong. Daniel died at the ripe old age of 78, which seems pretty shocking considering the whole not using soap, eating rotten food thing, but I guess his near total isolation from other people made up for that when it came to preventing illness. Though he never ended up shelling out any of the massive hoard of wealth that he accumulated over this time, his efforts weren't completely in vain. By the time he passed away, Daniel's estate was now pulling in about £3,000 in yearly net revenue, 10 times the amount it earned when he first inherited it. So, moral of the story, parsimony.
Because him and his sisters are dead.
No.
They have no kids.
The government takes the money.
So what was the point? It was like he just lived. He just made his life difficult for no reason.
Put the money back in the system.
With absolutely no one in his family or heritage benefiting from this. And he didn't even write a will or anything to distribute it to the people he wanted.
He's bad done.
Parsimony has its place. While it's good to save money, don't torture yourself just for the sake of a few bucks. Next time your parent or significant other insists on turning down the thermostat or keeping the windows up to save gas, just say, hey, are we human or are we dancer? But you know what else is more valuable than money? Knowledge. That's why you need to try Skillshare.
Alright.
Hey, that was a great video. Great video.
Nah, that was good. That was good. But he is dumb. Because not only was he initially rich. What are you doing?
Nothing. I wasn't doing it. Don't know what to talk about.
But as I was saying, not only was he initially rich.
Yeah.
But
he got richer. But he
still wasn't spending.
Yeah.
Like the richer he got, the poorer he lived for some reason.
That's dumb.
And then it wasn't even like he was doing it for like a specific purpose.
It wasn't even that like.
Because he was like initially it was like, oh, like I want to save money.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, you're richer than most of the people around you anyway.
Exactly. Why are you saving money for? What are you saving for?
And then but like even if he wanted to save money, by the time it was like half of his lifetime, he probably would have had like enough to even be able to like spend as much as he wants without even running out.
Exactly.
So then it's like, well, now you can
3,000 a year back then. That's
what I'm saying. I'm like, now you can start living life. Stop friggin'
getting all the prostitutes, isn't it? Oh,
that'll do it for this video. We hope you've enjoyed. This was
yeah, go on.
Something.
This has been Unorthodox reactions, Unorthodox intros,
Code open.
We do.
I will see you in the next one. In a bit.
Stay blessed.